After I became the master of the 9 states, the Heavenly Fragrance sect also held a grand banquet to celebrate me. The disciples inside were all drunk to the point of being unconscious. The big gorilla turned to the girls next to him and asked, "Do you think Senior Chin likes me?" But he hasn't dared to confess to me yet. Confess? You think Senior Chin has gone crazy, don't you? At most, we are just his wives. But the most pitiful one is junior sister Jiang Shinchu. She has never had any contact with men for years. She finally met someone and was mercilessly abandoned. In the end, it's all about heartbreak. It seems like we also have a chance to climb up to the seniors. Just when Jiang Shinchu was savoring the bitterness of love alone, there was a sudden vibration at her waist. Jiang Shinchu saw that it was her communication spirit Jade that rang, and she immediately excused herself and left the party. She returned to her empty room. Just as Jiang Shinchu answered the spirit Jade call, the greasy face of a middle-aged man suddenly rushed out. "My good girl, are you okay? I heard the news that those paparazzi from the upper realm attacked you." Jiang Shinchu saw her father, still full of energy, and finally smiled. "Father, I'm fine. How have you been lately? Your old man is in great shape, eating well and feeling good. But your mother," before he could finish his sentence, he was directly thrown out by a beautiful woman. "As long as you're not injured, there's nothing to worry about. But I heard you have a boyfriend now. Bring him back to show me when you come home this time." Mom already knows? I didn't expect you to be so impressive. You actually managed to win over the master of the 9 states. Mom, he hasn't agreed yet. Besides, he suddenly stopped talking to me. Jiang Shuanshu's mother had the demeanor of an experienced person. I understand. Young people, you know, arguments happen, but make up in the end. Just control yourself a bit more. If one time doesn't work, persuade him more. I did the same with your father back then, twice. Be brave in love. Go for it boldly. Don't be afraid. This is your mother's secret technique. Now it's passed on to you. Don't let me down, okay? Your mother is experienced. I can tell that you really like that boy. Hold on to him tightly. Don't wait until you lose him and regret it. Remember to bring him back when you come home this time. That's settled then. We'll wait for you to come back." Without waiting for Jiang Shuanshu's response, the phone was swiftly hung up. After receiving a thorough lecture from her mother, Jiang Shuanshu's heart finally opened up. She began to ponder the ins and outs of the whole situation. "Chin-chanan, do you have some untold secrets? Your scent still lingers on the bed." Then, Jiang Shinchu fell asleep, immersed in the lingering fragrance I left behind. Meanwhile, the 9 state governors of a state continued to party enthusiastically, singing loudly outside the courtyard of my house. What's even more outrageous is those who expressed their love for me. I was frightened by their abnormal behavior, and I immediately hid in my room. These bastards really know how to have fun. I almost got violated by a group of big men. It's fortunate that I am strong enough, preserving my last shred of innocence. But now there's something more important. System. How much domain value is needed to cover the entire 100,000 mountains with the Invincible domain? 100,000 mountains occupies an area of 2,600 square kilometers in Ghost State. Covering the entire 100,000 mountains would require tens of millions of domain value, and covering the Ghost State would require billions of domain value. This 9 state is too big. Covering the entire 9 state. Who knows how long that would take? Free leaks aren't always available. As soon as the system heard my sigh, it immediately popped up numerous windows, displaying various leaks waiting to be harvested. System, you really have an unexpected enthusiasm in some aspects. Could it be because you're afraid I won't expand the domain range for you? Perfect special effects skill is simply a leak harvesting machine. Since there are so many leaks, the next step is to turn all of them into valuable domain value and rescue the old man from the Fudu Demon sect. But the most important thing is my major life event. What should I do about my wife? I must bring back my newly conquered wife. Just when I was puzzled, I suddenly remembered that it was a system bug that caused the issue last time. You damn system, I've come up with a way to crack you. Just wait for me. The next day, as scheduled, I showed off at my celebratory event and gained a wave of popularity value. Ming-He was particularly considerate, speaking those scripted lines on my behalf, while elevating me to the highest position and creating an electrifying atmosphere in the venue. The lackey shouted in admiration, praising Senior Chen's greatness, while Yin Chanzong listened to the crazy mockery from his lackeys beside him, his veins popping out in anger. "Chin-chanan, you despicable dog, daring to attempt the complete annihilation of the Cloud State's immortal dynasty. I will kill you sooner or later." On Jiang Shuanshu's side, with her mother's encouragement, she finally came to a complete realization. Love requires courage to pursue, and happiness is something you have to fight for. "Chin-chanan, you can never escape from me in this lifetime. You are my man." But unfortunately, the lackeys in the venue were even more enthusiastic, and Jiang Shinchu was swept away in the crowd. After a frenzy of excitement, Jiang Shuanshu's first attempt to get close to me ended in failure. However, with the experience of the first attempt, Jiang Shinchu chose another path, waiting for the right moment to rush towards me again when no one was looking. But unexpected events always surround us. A young lady accidentally knocked over a pot, which splashed towards Jiang Shinchu. But my wife is an extraordinary woman. She agilely jumped to dodge it. Unfortunately, good times don't last. In that moment of landing, she stepped on a banana peel, and with a loud crash and the cries of her sisters, the second attempt to get close to me ended in failure. But my wife is not someone who gives up easily. She waited until after the competition ended and followed me from behind, making her move when it was safe all around. But she was suddenly hit by a falling roof above her head, once again resulting in failure. Even in the sea, she attracted a group of piranhas that chased and bit her. Another failure. After experiencing numerous failures, Jiang Shinchu is already exhausted, but she still shows no sign of giving up. Oh, who do we have here? Isn't this Jiang Shinchu's junior sister? I've noticed you've been following Senior for several days, but you still haven't been able to get close. We're different, though. I've been by Senior's side all this time. Even I can't resist his charm. Junior sister, since Senior-chan doesn't want you anymore, how about tonight? Your senior sister, invite him to have a passionate night? However, these lackeys clearly underestimated my wife's possessiveness. They were immediately pressed against the wall. If you have the guts, go ahead and try. Even as your senior sister, I won't show mercy. Do you want to die? Seeing Jiang Shinchu's murderous expression, her senior sisters were instantly terrified and collapsed to the ground. Just kidding, junior sister, don't be angry. How could I go after your man? He has always been yours. But my wife is irresistible for only 3 seconds. She was immediately hit hard on the head by a flower pot falling from above. After facing countless difficulties and obstacles, Jiang Shinchu finally arrived outside my house. I miss you so much, my husband, and she was ready to enter my room ahead of time for a surprise entrance. But this scene happened to be seen by the cunning Yun Chanzong. Isn't this the woman beside Chinchanan? That damn Chinchanan. How dare he try to exterminate me completely? Since you're heartless, don't blame me for being ungrateful. Blame it on you for being Chinchanan's woman. After saying that, he directly pounced on my wife. My wife instantly sensed that something was wrong, but when she turned around, there was nothing there. Could it be my imagination? And at that corner, Yun Chanzong's body was engulfed in flames, and he was immersed in the agony of the end of his life. The last flicker of flame burned out. That damn it, he dared to make a move on my wife. I've been annoyed by you for a long time. Hey, after dealing with this final hidden danger, I confidently spoke to the system, switch back to the original form. Meanwhile, Jiang Shinchu, who was completely unaware, walked towards my house, but she was quickly stopped by 2 lackeys outside the door. How many times have I told you, the governor of a state is already asleep? Hurry up and leave. You've gone crazy, targeting the governor of a state. Go, go, go. Jiang Shinchu looked at the 2 stubborn lackeys in front of her and coldly scolded. Since he refuses to come out and see me, then I have no choice but to. When the 2 lackeys heard that Jiang Shinchu hadn't finished speaking, they tightened their grip on the objects in their hands, ready to engage in a real fight. But Jiang Shinchu just sat quietly to the side. With a look of grievance, she said, I've been waiting here all along, until he wakes up, until he's willing to see me. Otherwise, I won't go anywhere. At the same time, I was completely unaware of what was happening outside the house. As I activated my cultivation technique and switched back to my original form, just as I switched back, an overwhelming sense of exhaustion suddenly overwhelmed me. What the hell happened? I feel like I've been drained completely. My bones are about to fall apart. I'm so hungry. Let's eat a steamed bun to fill my stomach first. These little girls are quite thoughtful. They even prepared food next to me. And then, as I reached out my hand, there came a shy moan from where I touched. Yes, this is the right amount of force. Please, Senior, punish me without holding back. And there came the sound of Lin Bao on my thigh. Senior, I want to eat a big chicken leg. Witnessing this absurd scene, my brain short-circuited in an instant. What on earth happened during the time I was absent? Just as I was frantically trying to escape, I heard the voice of the girl in the red dress behind me. Young master, aren't you shy? Come, let me give you a kiss. Wow, each and every one of them is so skilled. And my clothes have been changed too. What wicked things did these guys do while I was asleep? This is simply a disaster. Could it be that I've lost the body I've guarded for over 20 years? Who could have done this? But soon, I calmed down. The most important thing now is to solve the problem with my main wife. I've been single for over 20 years, and finally, I met a girl who likes me. I can't let this damn system mess it up. Should I say it or not? The original form is so cool. All the system functions are available for use. Earlier, I used my little brain to come up with a way to save my wife from bad luck whenever she gets close to me. Now is the time to make it a reality. With my fingers, I quickly tapped and selected various skills on the system. The descriptions of each skill reappeared. All living beings can be controlled within my domain. Special effects. Check character information. Issue various random tasks. If all living beings are really as described, then when I open up the scope, doesn't that mean the system is actually within my control? Then I can use the skills of all living beings and control the special effects to issue new tasks to the system. Without hesitation, I pressed on the skill. Damn it, dog-like system. I am your daddy. I will determine the task content. Watch me work my magic with empty hands. Using the function all living beings, I control invincible objects within the domain, the system, with my chaotic and random actions. The system seemed to have not responded in time, and it actually crashed. But as the protagonist of a cool novel, how could I embarrass myself? Soon, a prompt of successful operation appeared on the system panel. I knew it. Within my domain, I am the greatest. As expected, the system is no match for me. You are still too young to compete with me, little system. But now is not the time to be happy yet. There is still one final step remaining. Host Chinchanon issues a special task. Eliminate all negative effects generated by Jiang Shinchu approaching Chinchanon's clone or main body. Task target. Invincible domain system. Task reward. Chinchanon's praise. Task failure penalty. The system grants the host 680 billion domain value to suit the host's injured young soul. Task time limit, 10 minutes. As that wonderful sound rang out, I knew that my task had been successfully issued. Truly, I am impressive. Once again, I have discovered a new way to use the system's functions. Haha. The system, feeling aggrieved by my empty-handed success, immediately began outputting information to me, and uttered the dirtiest words it has said in all its years as a system. Staring at the system's helpless fury, I couldn't help but scratch my ear. That's enough. The task has been successfully issued. Little system, you better follow the rules properly. Failure of the task means your little treasure trove is about to be completely plundered by me. Those are valuable domain values, you know. Finally, under my coercion and inducement, the system accepted its fate and successfully eliminated all the negative effects of my wife approaching me. Although that's the case, the system still keeps on scolding like a little girl, but I have no haste in paying attention to the system's little tantrums. It would have been better if it had been cooperative earlier, instead of forcing me to use means. On the other side, a celestial gate unexpectedly appeared within the 10,000 mountains, and the figure of a beautiful woman slowly emerged. The spiritual energy in the mortal realm is so thin. Can the everlasting youth immortal tree really survive in such a remote place? I hope the person who possesses the immortal fruit knows what's good for them, and allows me to take the fruit back to the upper realm early. Saying that, she rushed towards my flying immortal mountain. Inside my boudoir, the three of them huddled together, and instinctively reached towards the center of the bedsheet. But they didn't grab anything. The three of them instantly woke up. Where's the person? The mystery of my innocence remains unsolved. As I leisurely strolled outside the room, Master, Master, several voices sounded simultaneously. I saw Baiyu and the other girls rushing towards me as if they were zombies breaking free from their cage. But the doorway was too small, and none of them managed to be the first to rush out. After a struggle, these three silly girls fell down together. Oh, good morning. Did you sleep well? But their response to me was their enthusiastic wrestling skills. Did I pick the wrong script? Could it be that these girls are rebelling collectively? The girls in red kept manipulating my body, repeatedly confirming if I was a real person. Although I don't mind being surrounded by girls, they are treating me like a toy. Hey, I have rights too. So, under my loving education, each of their heads ended up with a big lump. How about it? Are you awake now? Although she earned a big lump, Lin Bao's eyes showed no hint of resentment. Instead, tears welled up in her eyes as she hugged me tightly. Master, Master, you're finally awake. I thought you would never wake up again. Baiyu, too, was filled with joy, but there was more of a little scheming in her heart. Now that Senior is awake, can I implement those clever tricks I thought of? Seeing their worried expressions, I had no choice but to explain. I just switched to my clone. I didn't die or anything. Red Clothes got even more excited upon hearing this. Master, Master, next time I'll go find your clone. I'm really capable, you know. But when it came to Red Clothes' request, I considered it for a moment and immediately vetoed it. If she really went to find my clone, it would truly become a battlefield of love. it's just a thought away from my main wife cutting me down. So, I immediately changed the subject. All of that is not important. What's important is, I want to know who changed my clothes, and what kind of unspeakable things you did while I was asleep. Red clothes and Lin Bao instantly became silence, not saying a word, seeing their expressions. I had a pretty good idea of what happened, but the question is, who did something to my body? I can't just let it go without an explanation. Baiyu, being foolishly naive, was the first to speak up. Master, it was me who changed your clothes. Before she could finish, red clothes directly covered Baiyu's mouth. Master, she's sleepwalking right now. She's talking nonsense in the middle of the night. Just ignore her. Red clothes and Lin Bao dragged Baiyu away. Master, are you hungry? I'll go cook for you now. Watching their retreating figures, my heart sank to the bottom. They just left like that? I had no choice but to give up on that. I'll prepare for a hot bath for a while. After switching to my clone, I don't know how long it will take for my main body to come back. I need to take a hot bath quickly, or something will just feel off. Just as I was loosening my clothes to show off my muscles, Baiyu suddenly rushed in. Could this girl be thinking of joining me for a steamy bath? I saw Baiyu pull out a long whip from somewhere. Master, I've been poisoned with a special toxin. I need Master to whip me with this whip to cure it. Please, Master, help me. Poisoned with a special toxin? As I reached out to take the whip, Baiyu couldn't contain her excitement any longer. Finally, I can experience that strange feeling once again. Although I had doubts about Baiyu's words, I still took out my exclusive secret formula, the ultimate panacea for all ailments. 1 pill cures all toxins. 2 pills never tire. 3 pills grant eternal youth. It tastes amazing. So, I threw it to Baiyu. I've given you my exclusive secret formula. Go and cure yourself. I'm going to start my bath now. As for the unsuccessful Baiyu, she started plotting once again. Just you wait. I'll have a plan to take you down sooner or later. After sending Baiyu away, I directly began to enjoy the long-awaited bath time. Soon, I was immersed in a relaxing moment, but in this wonderful moment of relaxation, it wouldn't do justice to my bath if I didn't create some bubbles. However, it's been so long since I came back. It's time to see how my newly acquired followers are developing. They are the perpetual motion machines that generate domain value. After all, immediately, the entire flying immortal mountain echoed with the long-awaited breaking news. Comrades, our leader is finally awake. Upon hearing this explosive news, the junior disciples within the mountain became excited one after another. It's late at night now, yet everyone began to meticulously groom themselves, eager to meet their outstanding leader. Meanwhile, the fairy has already arrived near the flying immortal mountain. Since her time in the mortal realm is limited, she decided to capture a few monsters and ask about the owner of this immortal tree. Without any precautions, she plunged headfirst into my domain. Feeling the powerful aura, I instantly sensed the intrusion. Who could be the celestial from another realm, bringing me domain value this time? And to my surprise, this time it's even an immortal king, a truly generous gift. In that instant, the junior disciples within the mountain also sensed the terrifying pressure, but in the face of the approaching celestial, they only showed slight vigilance. It seemed like they had long been accustomed to such encounters. However, when the fairy noticed that not a single person paid her respects, a hint of anger surged within her. Are these small fry really so arrogant nowadays? One of the junior disciples coldly shouted, "Where do you come from? This is Senior Chen's sacred cultivation ground. Flying is forbidden. Fellow Taoist, return where you came from and stop disturbing our senior." Insolence! How dare you insignificant rodents speak so shamelessly? Then, a dreadful pressure surged toward everyone. Each junior disciple was shaken and unable to move under this pressure. Yu Chang also revealed a fierce glint in his eyes. I am the immortal king from the upper realm. In this lower world, there is no place that I cannot fly. I demand to know the whereabouts of Chinchanan, the one who possesses the everlasting youth immortal fruit. Feeling that this girl dared to act arrogantly within my territory, I directly exerted my divine might. Yu Chang, sensing this suffocating pressure, obediently fell to the ground. However, she still showed no sign of surrendering with her words. "Who are you? Show yourself and get lost." And with my move, I instantly captured the hearts of the junior disciples, raising their admiration for me to a new peak. At this moment, I had already changed into my battle robe and looked down below with a disdainful expression. When it comes to showing off, I am the #1 in the world. Yu Chang looked at my figure from afar, and her heart skipped a beat. I couldn't sense the slightest cultivation from this person, but just being stared at by him filled my heart with uncontrollable despair and fear. Then, she noticed the celestial charm emanating from the junior disciples around her. Seeing this, I knew that my showing off had reached its peak. Although Yu Chang was unwilling, she still surrendered. She respectfully bowed towards the mountaintop. "I am Jiang Yu Chang, a disciple of the Jiang family from Shuangwu Immortal Domain, seeking Senior Chen. The junior disciples were astonished by the scene before them. Is this really the same haughty and unrivaled fairy from before? Random Task 2 initiated. Task target detected. Please start the strategy to conquer the fairy. Host. Although I had no interest in conquering fairies, when a friend comes from afar, I must entertain them in my humble abode. Although Yu Chang appeared to submit on the surface, he still carried the spirit of not wanting to lose and soared once again. However, our demon emperor, Ning Shu, was not indulging Yu Chang's arrogance. She directly intercepted her. Flying is prohibited in this area. Since you've come here, you must abide by the rules of our leader. Anyone who comes to seek help from our leader must hold the highest respect. Make our leader feel loyal and walk up the mountain step by step along this path. Pay respects to our leader. Upon hearing this, Yu Chang became furious. Bullshit. I am a celestial from the upper realm. I will never endure such humiliation. Moreover, as an immortal king, how can I show loyalty to these ordinary mortals in the mountain ditch? Bull. Upon hearing Yu Chang's arrogant words, burst into laughter. This is hilarious. Even if you were a god descending to the mortal realm, you would still obediently bow your head to our boss along with your master. Just as Yu Chang was about to counterattack Bull, she suddenly noticed that the fruit Bull was gnawing on was none other than the everlasting youth immortal fruit. The immortal fruit, treasured in the upper realm, was being casually eaten by this insignificant Bull as if it were an ordinary fruit. It was an utter waste of a precious treasure. However, Yu Chang didn't blurt out his thoughts. Instead, she cautiously asked, "Where did you get this fruit?" Bull, not being as shrewd as Yu Chang, straightforwardly replied, "Given by the master. Everyone has it." Upon hearing Bull's casual remark, Yu Chang felt as if he had been struck by lightning. Everyone has it? Do you really think this is some common fruit you can find anywhere? This holy fruit only blooms every 1,000 years and bears fruit every 10,000 years. When it blossoms, there are only a few of them. Ning Shu, seeing Yu Chang's mouth hanging open in astonishment, couldn't help but taunt her. So, the fairy descending to the mortal realm is here to seek the fruit? Does the upper realm also have needs from the lower realm? Well, who would have thought? Just this sacred fruit alone is in constant supply every day, and we can't even finish eating them. Faced with Ning Shu's extravagant boasting, Yu Chang made the rational choice to remain silent and walked straight towards the mountaintop. Watching Yu Chang's departing figure, Ning Shu sighed helplessly. She says she doesn't want it, but her body is obedient. At this moment, Yu Chang was already on the verge of exploding with anger. Chinchanan, what kind of monster are you? How could you let such a sacred fruit be casually given to these lowly and despicable demons? The news of Yu Chang's ascent up the mountain had already spread throughout the entire mountaintop, and the monsters and beasts came one after another, marveling at this spectacle. It's truly a sight to behold. I've never seen anything like it in my entire life. As for the secret struggles and fights down the mountain, I smiled faintly. I didn't expect these people to play such flashy games. They are even more extravagant than me. After a while, Yu Chang finally arrived in my courtyard. Jiang Yu Chang, disciple of the Shuangwu Immortal Domain's Jiang family, seek Senior Chen, she said. Upon my approval, Yu Chang slowly pushed open the door. Meanwhile, I maintained my domineering aura and said, "Oh, Jiang Fairy has gone to such great lengths to find me. What brings you here?" Immediately, Yu Chang threw out a large gourd and said, "This treasure can be used for offense or defense. It's a top-tier item in the mortal realm. I'll trade it with you for one everlasting youth immortal fruit." As I watched the treasure swiftly flying towards me, I felt no temptation and casually flicked it away. No trade. Seeing that her treasure had failed to have the desired effect, Yu Chang couldn't help but become furious. You've gone too far. Even a bunch of lowly demons." Before she could finish, I began to mock her. "Do you really think you're something special? Trying to impress me with a lousy gourd? Get lost." I also released a hint of my royal aura to suppress this arrogant girl. Feeling my aura up close, Yu Chang instantly became much more obedient. It was as if she was facing the immortal lord himself, causing her to kneel before me. I eased up a bit, knowing that this was the perspective we were supposed to have. "I don't want your treasure. I only need you to answer a few questions." However, this girl had an indomitable spirit and resolutely refused the proposal. Just as I was about to speak again, Lin Bao approached with a tray of immortal fruit. I didn't pay much attention and casually replied, "Whether you want to speak or not is up to you. But speaking of it, Lin Bao, you've picked quite a lot of wild fruits from the fairy tree, haven't you? It's no big deal. I'll distribute them to everyone later. I'm just not sure how to handle the extra baskets of fruit." "Well, we can't just throw them all away." The fairy couldn't help but speak up at this moment and said, "I suddenly feel that this trade is quite good. Senior Chen, ask your questions, and I promise to truthfully reveal everything I know, even things I don't know." Seeing Yu Chang's expression change rapidly, I thought to myself, wow, you're really playing the game of tug-of-war with me. Why did the upper realm invade the lower realm? Shouldn't those in power protect the lower realm? You're always finding loopholes to come down here. What are you after? Where does invasion come into play? It's ridiculous, I questioned. The countless beings in the lower realm have nothing to do with us immortal beings. In our eyes, you're nothing more than a group of weak ants, utterly useless. On the contrary, everything about you is within our grasp. You're not worth our efforts. Even the vast world under this void will ultimately become a tool for our immortal power to ascend, Yu Chang explained. Hearing Yu Chang's explanation, something suddenly came to my mind. Could it be that there are other parallel worlds besides this 9-state continent? Yu Chang continued, among the myriad of worlds, this 9-state land is nothing more than a tiny speck of dust. So, in our eyes, you're just a group of unharvested leeks waiting to mature and be harvested. Lin Bao couldn't stand Yu Chang's arrogant attitude and retorted, I really hate it. She scared Yu Chang into immediately apologizing and begging for forgiveness, saying, sorry. It was unintentional. Now, the second question. The upper realm has long had the intention to seize the lower realm. Why hasn't it succeeded after so many years? I asked. In response, on one hand, it's because the rules of the heavenly path obstruct it, and on the other hand, the upper realm has connections with certain ruling immortal families, but I don't know the specifics. However, I do know that there is a person in the lower realm who has repeatedly obstructed the plundering of the upper realm. It is said that this person, year after year, single-handedly crosses the boundaries of the realms, devoutly kneeling before the boundary monument of the immortal realm, and spends tens of thousands of years cultivating just to repeat the same sentence again and again. But with each visit, his life force gradually diminishes, and those immortal lords have also been misled, thinking that 9-state has already been seized by other immortal realms, so they have no intention of attacking it again. But recently, this matter has been exposed, and the immortal lords realized that they have been played by the people of the lower realm. They became furious, which led to the plans of various immortal realms to compete for the 9-state continent and to find and eliminate the person who played them, Feng Qiyun. I heard that Feng Qiyun has a disciple and has founded a sect called the Eternal Life Sect. When Yu Chang mentioned the familiar name, I couldn't restrain the anger in my heart any longer. I uncontrollably slapped the table, and a powerful force instantly swept through the entire room. Is this information true? I asked. Seeing my furious expression, Yu Chang became frightened and stammered, yes, of course. Jiang Yu Chang, never lie. Every word is true. Seeing Lin Bao's worried expression, I could only forcefully suppress my anger and calmly analyze the situation. According to the information she revealed, the lower-level lackeys from the upper realm had long set their sights on the 9-state, but their invasion was delayed year after year by the old man. However, now that the old man is missing, the 9-state is completely exposed to the sight of those lackeys, which means that it will soon face countless attacks from them. Hey, I have a few more questions for you, I said. What is the medium for immortals to descend to the lower realm? Why can some people exert their full strength? And as an immortal king, how much power can you unleash? Seeing me lunging towards her like a hungry wolf, Yu Chang couldn't help but retreat. I just wanted a fruit. I'm not selling myself, she said. In the next moment, Yu Chang seemed to have figured something out and walked towards me, taking on a dominant position. Give me the fruit first. With the fruit, everything can be discussed. You want a freeload on this ferry, but you have to pay a price, she said. Seeing this little girl unexpectedly turning the tables on me, I suddenly found myself in an awkward situation. Damn it, I thought she was a fool easily deceived. I didn't expect her not to fall for it, I thought. After a bizarre deal, I reluctantly gave up the immortal fruit that I had been using as fertilizer, finally obtaining the immortal fruit she had been longing for. Yu Chang continued her paid knowledge lecture. There are ascending passages between the upper and lower realms. By using the passage Jade token, you can open the immortal gate to the lower realm. It just takes a bit of time, usually ranging from 15 to 30 days, Yu Chang explained. As for the people who can exert their full strength, they are the guardians of the reincarnated heavenly arrogance. They can briefly appear in the lower realm without being suppressed by the heavenly Tao. At that moment, Yu Chang suddenly remembered that she seemed to have a reincarnated heavenly arrogance as well. She made a mental note to remind herself not to provoke the star of calamity in front of her. As for myself, in the lower realm, I can only exert 20% of my power. Alright, I've said everything. Hurry up and give me my immortal fruit, Yu Chang demanded. I immediately went into my Oscar-winning acting mode. What immortal fruit? Haven't I already given it to you? I never said I would give you more. You're so greedy, little girl, I said, pretending innocence. Upon hearing my words, the little girl resorted to being unruly and became agitated. Just one? Are you trying to deceive me, you cheat? No one dares to deceive this fairy, but thinking that I can't defeat you, she couldn't help but clench her lips in frustration. One immortal fruit can't even prolong Patriarch's lifespan by much. This damn person, what can I do with just one fruit? She exclaimed. Seeing the little girl pretending to be aggrieved in front of me, I immediately reached out and grabbed her fruit. Don't want it? Well, then give it to me. I can still use it as fertilizer, I said. Yu Chang, witnessing my attempt to snatch the only fruit she had, quickly retreated. This despicable man, may you never find a partner in your lifetime, she cursed. Seeing the little girl regain her spirits, I couldn't help but urge her, all right, it's none of your business anymore. You can leave. Goodbye and good riddance. Lin Bao, go call everyone to come and eat the fruit. Yu Chang, observing the situation, promptly put away her own fruit. Men are all the same, not a single decent person among them, she remarked. I'll give you a piece of advice. Although you have some strength, compared to the upper realm, you're nothing but a shrimp hitting a rock. Hearing the unexpectedly considerate words from the little girl, I let go of my guard a little. I'm actually quite looking forward to how they will stand in front of me, facing my arrogance, I thought. Yu Chang didn't hesitate to counterattack, truly overestimating your abilities. You're just a commoner in the lower realm. Having a little strength doesn't mean you can act all high and mighty. Suddenly, the door to the room was opened by Lin Bao. Master, everyone is here. Prompted by Lin Bao's call, Red Robes and the others gathered outside my house. We pay our respects, Senior. Did Senior call us here for something that needs to be resolved? They asked, hurriedly arriving. Seeing everyone rushing over, I was touched by their eagerness. It's nothing major. I just wanted to give you some immortal pills to try. There are more and more immortals coming from the upper realm. To resist their invasion, I have decided to create immortals, a group of people who are not bound by the rules of the 9 state and can fully exert the power of immortals. Are you willing to be the first group under my command? Bai Yu and the others readily agreed, saying, as long as we can be by Senior's side, we are willing to do anything. Jiang Yuchang, upon hearing that I actually wanted to create immortals, burst into laughter. She thought it was nothing but a dream. The path to becoming an immortal is extremely difficult. Do you really think these few mediocre individuals and some shoddy elixirs will be of any use? Hearing this girl daring to mock me, I almost couldn't resist going up and giving her a lesson, but in the end, I held back that impulse. After all, the road to showing off is never smooth for anyone. As they each consumed the immortal pills, I began to provide professional commentary. These immortal pills are superior to ordinary ones, enabling a qualitative leap in breaking through bottlenecks. Lin Bao took the lead in refining the pills, harnessing the immense power contained within them. Seeing each of them entering the state of cultivation, I couldn't help but feel gratified. This is my first time creating immortals. Although the path to immortality is extremely complex, as long as it's within my invincible domain, anything is possible. Immediately, I called out, my precious little Thunder, Daddy needs your help. Come under my summons. Little Thunder appeared directly and descended towards me. I missed you so much, Dad. With my assistance, the aura of the people began to rise. Yu Chang, seeing the divine aura gradually emanating from them, stood dumbfounded in place. Could he really create immortals? He is just a commoner. How could he compare to the divine beings? Impossible, absolutely impossible. Then, several golden lights shot up into the sky, enveloping the entire courtyard. The disciples within the mountain also looked towards the mountaintop. Someone is undergoing the tribulation of becoming an immortal. Someone has achieved immortality. The direction should be Senior's courtyard. It must be Senior causing such a commotion. Let's go and take a look. Soon, countless disciples gathered outside my room, eagerly vying for a glimpse of the commotion inside. When they saw the terrifying aura emanating from Bull and the others, they exclaimed in astonishment, that's celestial energy. However, Lin Bao, as the person involved, didn't find it as easy. Due to the violent aura surging within her, she was on the verge of bursting and dying. On the other hand, Ning Shu was more determined, with her cultivation skyrocketing from the peak of the Transcendence realm straight into the Immortal Soldier realm. She was greatly shocked by this development. Is this a dream? Realms that were previously unimaginable are now as simple as drinking water. Just then, a gate leading to the upper realm slowly opened. The disciples were overjoyed at the appearance of the celestial gate. Is Senior about to become an immortal? They exclaimed. Yu Chang was also dumbfounded by the scenes unfolding before her. This madman actually succeeded and redefined the difficulty of creating immortals. As I saw the emergence of the celestial gate, I immediately gathered a scorching energy in my hand. This is my immortal power in the mortal realm. What nonsense, celestial gate, get out of my way. In the instant I clenched my fist, a terrifying explosion directly destroyed the celestial gate. How dare they show off their puny skills in front of me? Jiang Yuchan gritted his teeth tightly. This madman, flying ascension is impossible in the mortal realm now. This guy actually destroyed the celestial gate. From what I know, reaching the pinnacle of horizontal strike is one of the conditions for ascension. As for the second condition, it is cultivating celestial aura. Without celestial aura, there is no ascension. The difficulty of cultivating celestial aura is extremely challenging. One must completely comprehend a law of the heavenly Tao to have a chance of success. Both conditions must be fulfilled, and one must undergo the tempering of the thunder tribulation to resist the heart demons that arise during ascension. Only by passing the thunder tribulation and defeating the heart demons can mortals ascend to the upper realm. But now, the spiritual energy in the mortal realm is not enough to support a single person's ascension. Yet, this Chinchanan has miraculously created so many immortals out of thin air. What terrifying realm has his cultivation reached to transcend the laws of this world? Heavenly arrogances, who have been reincarnated from the upper realm, are gathering from all over the mortal realm, ready to take action and snatch the 9-state cauldron from me. Next is the system upgrade. I need to quickly expand the boundaries of my invincible domain, rescue the old man, and take advantage of the situation. Lin Bao, as the disciple, has broken through the half-immortal realm, granting the host an additional 500,000 domain value as the master disciple bonus. Red Clothing has broken through the half-immortal realm, granting the host an additional 300,000 domain value. Ning Shu and Bull, on the other hand, have done better by directly breaking through to the immortal soldier realm, each earning me 800,000 domain value. Unfortunately, Lin Bao and the others have relatively low cultivation, only able to break through to the half-immortal realm. Otherwise, we could have made a pure profit. Next time, I'll find new ways to create more immortals and earn even more domain value. Just as I was lost in thought, Lin Bao puckered his lips and kissed me on the cheek. Master, master. Suddenly, the girls around us rushed over, celebrating their own joy. I was taken aback by their enthusiasm. I really didn't want to start a harem, but my struggles clearly had the opposite effect. Red Clothing and the others tackled me to the ground, leaving me in despair. Stay calm, the Beast King is getting excited. On the other hand, Bull seemed relatively normal, proudly showing off his perfect muscular physique. Look, I'm an immortal bull now. I don't have to worry about my parents scolding me anymore. My ancestors' graves are smoking. Ha ha. Lin Qingshan was also crying on the side, reporting the good news to the ancestors one by one. The little disciples who witnessed this great feat from outside cast envious glances. The seniors are simply gods. Now we have so many immortals, and we no longer fear those dogs from the upper realm. Jiang Yuchan was still immersed in a sea of astonishment. They actually created 2 immortals who are not suppressed by the laws of the mortal realm. Who knows, this 9-state continent might become a new immortal domain. The plans of those immortal masters seem to be in vain. The current domain value of the host is 7.68 million. Please upgrade to version 5.0 as soon as possible to expand the boundaries of the Invincible domain. Detecting that 2 individuals have become immortals within the Invincible domain, granting an additional reward of 2 salted fish treasure chests to the host. Seeing the 2 free salted fish treasure chests, I couldn't help but excitedly shout, "Oh, I'm really making a fortune." The system is so generous this time. Just as I was savoring this moment of joy, a voice suddenly interrupted me. It turned out to be the fairy. "Didn't I tell you to leave just now? Why haven't you gone? Don't tell me you have some earth-shattering secrets to share with me? Want to have a chat?" Yuchan suddenly turned away. I don't have any additional information at the moment. Looking at the proud fairy, I directly responded, "Is it about the fairy fruit? I'll keep it for you. If you have any major news, you're always welcome to visit the Flying Immortal Mountain." Seeing that their ultimate goal had been achieved, Yuchan didn't linger anymore and flew away into the distance. What an unrefined man. Goodbye, goodbye. Detecting a change in the fairy's attitude towards the host, the conquest progresses further, granting the host an additional 10,000 domain value. Seeing this free domain value, I couldn't help but wonder, wow, this is still a long-term domain value tool, and it has learned to self-conquer. It's just a bit lacking. System, upgrade to version 5.0. System detects that the conditions for upgrading to 5.0 have been met. Upgrading in progress. Deducting 1 million domain value. Version 5.0 upgrade successful. New feature activated. Mastery of life and death. Can consume domain value to revive those who died within the domain. Damn, this thing is awesome. This is a great feature, much better than any special effects. Without hesitation, I directly clicked on the expansion button and kept 1 million domain value for backup. Expand the rest as much as possible, deducting 5.68 million domain value to expand the Invincible domain to 5,600 meters. Remaining domain value, 1 million. Invincible domain range, 62,607 meters. Feeling more and more territory being covered by me, a sense of achievement wells up within me. Currently, I can consider that I've covered half of the 10,000 mountains, but compared to the entire 9-state map, it still seems inadequate. After expanding the domain, I couldn't wait to open the salted fish treasure chests that I've been longing for. I wonder what kind of divine treasures I'll get this time. As I watched the familiar fireworks, last time I obtained the Mirror Flower and Water Moon Doppelganger ability card. I hope I can be lucky again and reach new heights. Congratulations to the host for opening for salted fish treasure chests, acquiring 15,000 domain value. There are also other items, including the mind reading card instructions. You can randomly hear the inner thoughts of a bound subordinate, partner, or companion. Seeing all these outrageous and bizarre things around me, I'm left speechless. This is clearly the system's retaliation against me. Damn system, come out. What the hell are you doing? I highly suspect that you're manipulating things behind the scenes. Where's your morality? Where is your humanity? Seeing my furious appearance, the system couldn't help but feel afraid and quickly shifted the blame. The items obtained from the salted fish treasure chests are not under the control of the system. Upon hearing the explanation from the system, I reluctantly believed it a little, but at the same time, I accidentally broke a piece of it as well. The system's angry roar followed, but I simply muted and blocked it. The only thing that seems useful is this card with a heart drawn on it. Let me see which lucky person I can randomly draw. Subsequently, inaudible voices entered my mind. How can I experience that strange feeling again? Senior, please give me a beating. Who is this? Hearing these words filled with a sense of spring, my old face couldn't help but blush. Who could be saying this? Looking at the group of girls, I sighed helplessly. None of my subordinates are normal people. Based on my known experience, this person is undoubtedly a corridor. As long as it's not bullshit, I can't handle it. Sigh. All 4 salted fish treasure chests are useless. Did I exhaust all my luck last time? Forget it. Forget it. Let me talk to everyone about the knowledge of immortals. I immediately gathered the villagers, young and old, and started my passionate speech that lasted the entire night. It was not until the sun rose that I hastily ended it. Now everyone has some understanding of the immortals who are about to descend to the mortal world, and they are no longer afraid of sudden thefts. We can only focus on improving our strength in the mortal realm. When I first came to this world, if it weren't for the help of the old man, I would have probably been devoured by demons and monsters because of the eternal life body. Over the past few years, you have kept me in the temple of immortals, not only protecting me but also expending your cultivation to safeguard the mortal realm. If you think this mortal realm is worth it, then I will protect this 9-state for you. Seeing me switch to my clone again, Lin Bao quietly tested the waters from the side. After confirming repeatedly, Lin Bao knew that I had secretly slipped away once again. Red clothing also appeared silently, not knowing when. Young master, why did you leave without saying a word this time? Could it be that you have another woman outside? Lin Bao had a strong premonition about this. She raised her knife and fork, ready to go down the mountain to find my clone and figure things out. Count me in, too. I'll go as well. Baiyu responded eagerly upon seeing this. Consider me one as well. I'll join. With that, the undercover alliance silently reached an agreement without my knowledge. Meanwhile, it started raining heavily, and I had no idea when it had started. My primary wife was still guarding outside the inn, motionless, despite the insults from the 2 gatekeepers. The gatekeepers looked at Jiang Shinchu, who remained unmoved, and couldn't help but feel exasperated. Who cares about you? The main concern is that there are so many infatuated women now. What if our handsome governor of a state gets affected? At that moment, I quietly went online, and when the gatekeepers saw me coming out of the house, their hearts sank to the bottom of the valley. We're doomed. We woke up the governor of a state. Our lives are over. Seeing my primary wife waiting outside, I couldn't help but worry. Have you been waiting here all night? It seems like she has guessed my concern, and a smile as beautiful as a flower bloomed on Jiang Shinchu's face. Not really. I just happened to arrive. Chinchanan, can we talk? She said. When it comes to seduction, indeed, my wife is unmatched. She's truly irresistible. Who could resist that? Then come to my room. Meanwhile, on a street in Cloud City, a brother and sister were overjoyed about their upcoming breakthrough to the Foundation realm, completely unaware that danger was gradually approaching them. And at that moment, a child emitting an ominous aura suddenly appeared. The newcomer was none other than the reincarnation of heavenly arrogance from the upper realm, slaying heaven. In this life of slaying heaven, he faced rejection for killing the parents of his body. Coincidentally, he encountered this brother and sister. It turns out they are both innate Tao bodies. They could serve as my new vessels. It's you. After a burst of bloodlight, slaying heaven successfully obtained a new body. Now, all he needed to do was utilize the knowledge and secret techniques from the upper realm to rapidly cultivate and then eliminate Shinchanan, seize the 9-state cauldron, and take over the lower realm. Meanwhile, inside Cloud State City, my reputation had already spread throughout the streets and alleys. Every move I made had become the focus of people's discussions. These pieces of news conveniently served the interests of the beings from the upper realm who were planning to take action against me, affirming the old saying that people fear becoming famous just as pigs fear growing fat. Upon learning that I was in Cloud State City, these beings slowed down their plan to slaughter the city and instead prepared to give me a grand gift. Meanwhile, the young man who was just possessed miraculously survived and witnessed the tragedy unfolding before his eyes. After a few struggles, he embraced his lost sister in his arms and wept bitterly. On my side, I suddenly found myself in a state of nervousness. I had just been thinking about bringing my wife inside, but now I didn't know how to broach the subject. Looking at the raindrops falling continuously from her body and her clothes tightly adhering to her figure, I couldn't care about much else. I grabbed my wife's hand and prepared to go for a bath together. Hurry and come with me. You'll catch a cold if you continue like this. Conveniently, there was a bathhouse nearby. Inside the bathhouse, Jiang Shinchu stood shyly in the pool, contemplating how to conquer me. Watching my wife remain motionless for a long time, I couldn't help but urge her, "What are you still dawdling for? It's just the two of us here. Don't worry, I'll protect you. How's the water temperature? Is it suitable?" Upon hearing my domineering CEO-like voice, Jiang Shinchu immersed her head in the water and mumbled that the water temperature was just right. Seeing her satisfied expression, I gently reminded her, "Later, I'll bring you some new clothes to wear." Under my relentless pursuit, Jiang Shinchu had already been in a state of indescribable happiness. Finally gathering up her courage, she asked, "Chanan, do you want to bathe together?" Although I also wanted to have a passionate encounter with my wife, there were more important matters to attend to at the moment. I could only refuse such beauty in a righteous manner. Upon hearing my rejection, Jiang Shinchu felt slightly disappointed. I then turned my attention to the information about the beings from the upper realm. But how can this being at the Foundation Establishment realm peak be considered a crop? It seems that I'll have to let it grow a bit before harvesting. System, my child, investigate the background of the reincarnated heavenly arrogance. I want first-hand information about him, I commanded. Since the last time I mercilessly tortured the system, it had become quite shrewd, deducting 250 points of domain value. Searching in progress, the system responded. "Damn it, you son of a bitch. Do you think you're funny?" I retorted. The reincarnated heavenly arrogance is mostly composed of upper realm cultivators, ranging from immortal realm beings to divine realm beings. They descend to the mortal realm on the command of the domain masters of various major immortal domains, aiming to seize the myriad realms. They possess memories and techniques from several lifetimes, allowing them to temporarily resist the influence of the heavenly Tao and rapidly advance in cultivation. Overcoming higher-level opponents is also their specialty. Among the reincarnated beings, there are advanced beings who reincarnate to qualify as immortal venerable candidates and ultimate beings who reincarnate to enhance their own cultivation. Of course, there are also salted fish laborers who are forced to descend to the mortal realm. Although they come from various regions, they all have one goal: to seize the lower realm. The system provided the information, and this time, everyone from the immortal domains changed their targets and aimed at the same place. The 9-state continent has become a coveted prize for the upper realm due to various factors. In other words, the host has to become the savior and confront these old fellows, preparing to face a group of people alone. My clone has to be careful. This is all valuable domain value. As for who wants to be the savior, it's up to them. After the system finished telling me the story, Jiang Shinchu's voice came softly. "Chinchanan, I had a strange dream before. In the dream, my Tao companion wasn't you but a stranger whose name I didn't even know. We were attacked by evil cultivators on our way to the 9-state gathering. To save his own life, he willingly offered me to the evil cultivators. After the heavenly arrogance competition in the dream, I lost everything and died in the desolate wilderness, ignored by everyone. The feeling in the dream was so real that it suffocated me. Sometimes, I couldn't even distinguish between reality and the dream. But reality is real because with you, I am truly happy." Hearing my wife's story, I also suddenly realized that this was the same as the previous fate line. "Have you noticed anything else?" I asked. Jiang Shinchu had already walked out of the bath at this point. "I have discovered one very important thing. I can hardly go on in a world without you. I have realized this so clearly I love you, she confessed. Then, Jiang Shinchu broke the silence even further, saying, could you please hand me the clothes? Here you go, I replied. Just then, Jiang Shinchu slipped and fell straight into the bath behind her. Seeing this, I instantly understood that it was divine intervention. Without hesitation, I lunged toward Jiang Shinchu's falling figure. With a splash, both of us fell into the water as expected. And so, the two of us found ourselves gazing into each other's eyes in the pool. Blushes began to appear on our faces. Suddenly, the two of us burst into laughter simultaneously, as if we had planned it. In this moment, all the awkwardness and unspoken thoughts vanished into thin air. As I looked at the beauty in front of me, I couldn't help but slowly draw closer. So, we've made up, haven't we? I said. Jiang Shinchu's emotional barrier completely dissipated. She responded with a definite affirmation. With this positive response, our passionate hearts drew closer together. Just as the climax was about to unfold in our passionate play, the petty system suddenly emitted an alarm, interrupting my moment of bliss. Damn system, you really know how to pick your timing. Have you forgotten the phrase rubbing salt into the wound? I've never been so speechless in my life, I muttered. Detected, heavenly arrogance from the upper realm approaching. Host is required to harvest the leeks, the system announced. Upon hearing that the leeks were being handed to me on a silver platter, my anger subsided. Who could possibly have an issue with receiving free domain value? I wondered if the domain value of these leeks would surpass the previous ones. As for activities like kissing, we'll save them for next time. Jiang Shinchu noticed my anxiety and asked considerately, are you leaving again? I heard from the gatekeeper that you were going to Dragon Transformation City for inspection. Is that true? I softly responded to my wife's question, not wanting to reveal that I was going to harvest leeks. But in the next moment, Jiang Shinchu once again pressed her body against mine, clearly unwilling to let this opportunity to kiss me slip away due to my sudden need to leave. After a moment of sweetness, Jiang Shinchu took the initiative to speak, saying, this is what you owe me. I'm just collecting it back. The interest hasn't been paid yet. Is that not allowed, husband? Under the repeated address of husband from my wife, I succumbed. Sure, of course, you can kiss me as much as you want, my dear wife. He. But in response to Jiang Shinchu's thoughtfulness, I also showed off my masculine charm. Be a good girl and wait for me at home. Once I finish my work, I'll come to pick you up. Jiang Shinchu immersed herself in the tenderness of this moment and softly agreed. Meanwhile, the leek on the other side had a gloomy smile, counting the figures beneath its feet and setting traps with innocent lives, preparing to lay a snare and wait for my arrival. As the 9 heavens slaying god formation was set up, the lackeys began to prepare for a trap, ready to kill me. Little did they know that I had already considered them as domain value in my pocket. After arriving in the vicinity, I sensed the aura emanating from the surroundings. The system also alerted me that the lackeys were nearby, preparing to launch a surprise attack. However, the lackey couldn't contain himself and directly summoned his protective magic avatar to strike at me. In an instant, the flying boat I was riding on was severed by the lackey. It's an attack at the immortal soldier level. This leak does have some strength. Seeing the avatar summoned by the lackey, I couldn't help but feel speechless. Are young people nowadays so fond of these chaotic and random things? They seem to enjoy playing around with such eccentricities. But this kid's cultivation level is so low, yet he's quite skilled at cheating. The lackey felt confident in his victory and began to make triumphant remarks, revealing a creepy smile. Similarly, I looked at the lackey with excitement in my eyes. I've been waiting for this moment for so long. Finally, I can legitimately harvest some leeks. Good evening, my dear little lamb. Detected, reincarnated heavenly arrogance, currently at the peak of the Foundation establishment realm. However, due to possessing a natural divine body, they can summon ancient demonic gods to assist them in battle. Host is required to harvest them and save the people of Dragon Transformation City. After the system finished introducing, I understood why this lackey was acting so arrogantly. He was just cheating. Well, I have plenty of cheats too. Little buddy, if you kneel down and apologize to me, I'll spare your life. Otherwise, Upon hearing my extremely arrogant mockery, the lackey couldn't help but wonder if he had really encountered a tough opponent. But this Chinchanon still didn't understand. Maybe he got scared by the immortal soldier I summoned. Who do you think you are? Just a paper tiger who likes to show off. Don't struggle anymore. Become my new vessel. But in the next moment, this guy directly controlled the bloodthirsty Buddha to attack me. One strike of 1,000 hands devouring soul palm. In an instant, the overwhelming giant palms came at me at an invisible speed, creating waves of smoke and obscuring the view. However, this lackey didn't understand that. The corners of his mouth couldn't help but curl up slightly. I barely made a move, and it's already over. So fragile. He still dared to fantasize about protecting the lower realm with just this level of ability. But in the next moment, the scene before him completely dumbfounded him. He saw me standing there unscathed, even with a smile on my face. No way, baby, is this all you got? Slaying heaven, right? Let me show you what a dimension-reducing strike feels like. Let me show you a few more moves. Come on. Hit me. This slaying heaven is indeed someone who has seen the world. He quickly calmed down. You actually know me. Since you are aware of my reputation, I'll spare your whole body. Immediately, he once again controlled the giant Buddha behind him and launched another fierce attack against me. Despite facing the dense rain-like barrage of attacks, I remained steadfast without any wavering. I quietly enjoyed the massages delivered by this lackey time and time again. Put more effort into it. You call yourself an immortal, but you're so weak and flimsy. It's truly laughable. This performance of an adult amusing a child attracted numerous scattered cultivators outside the city, who were preparing to come and help defend against the external enemies. The spectators in the sky couldn't help but feel regretful as they saw visitors from other upper realms arriving earlier and stealing the show. Even the little pink behind her seemed to have recognized the reality. It seemed that this time, that person had stolen the spotlight again. After all, that guy was in the Xuanwu immortal domain, and his true cultivation reached the immortal emperor realm. His bloodthirsty Buddha made him invincible within the same realm. As for the internal governor of a state, I'm afraid his days are numbered. Nan Rong couldn't help but laugh lightly. This slaying heaven is just like the major antagonist I read about in novels, while the internal governor of a state is the hero who diligently guards his homeland. Unfortunately, the hero is nothing more than rubbish. It's really pitiful. The woman behind her couldn't help but speak. If these people from the lower realm had a chance to survive in our hands, but unfortunately, they encountered him, and the giant statue manipulated by the lackey also found an opportunity. Its hands came down fiercely towards me, and a heavy dull sound was heard. The upper realm lackeys who were watching around all began to prepare to leave. The outcome was decided. Let's go to the next realm. But at this moment, Nan Rong widened her eyes and said, wait, look, cutie, I give your massage a full score. Since that's the case, let me make you feel the love from your big brother. After I flipped off the towering giant statue, a disdainful gesture caused its head to explode in a burst of fireworks. As for the audience, everyone stopped in their tracks, witnessing this astonishing strike. It seemed like a perfect finale to the performance. The giant troll turned into fireworks, illuminating the entire dragon transformation city. After the shock subsided, the woman smirked again. Chinchanan does have some strength, but he made a fatal mistake. He shouldn't have angered slaying heaven. This guy's bloodthirsty cruelty is renowned among the younger generation. Each deity in Buddha was acquired at great cost. I'm afraid Chinchanan will meet a miserable end. The green-haired woman felt an unprecedented sense of pleasure in her heart. She didn't dislike this scene where someone sacrifices themselves to save the world. If it were me, I would definitely make him my special male pet. Congratulations, host, on successfully killing the bloodthirsty Buddha, an immortal soldier. You have gained 500,000 domain value. Damn, killing summon creatures also grants domain value? It's so awesome. You really are my lucky star, my little darling. Then I provocatively taunted the little brat. If you don't have the strength, why pretend? You disappeared after playing for such a short time. I haven't even warmed up yet. You're not just this little trash, right? My actions successfully angered the lackey, who exclaimed, I have more than just this one. A blue glowing arm wielding a massive axe slowly appeared. A loud voice rang out before the person even emerged fully. For my master, I'll brave all dangers and eliminate all evil calamities. While shouting the slogan, the wielder of the axe swung it towards me. Another ambush? Clearly, this immortal soldier was not one to waste words. After narrowly dodging my first strike, it swung the axe at me again. This time, the strike was precise and hit me directly, but in an instant, that figure transformed into smoke and dissipated into the air. But this burly man clearly wasn't very bright. He actually thought that one strike would take me out completely. People from the mortal realm are so easy to kill. I haven't even exerted my full strength yet. However, slaying heaven is not a fool and quickly reminded me, Grudge Phantom, above you. The burly man suddenly looked up and saw that I had been waiting here for a while. With my unwashed feet, I stomped fiercely towards him. I heard you just stole my lines. You damn bastard. Watch me stomp you into pieces. Right beneath my seemingly insignificant foot, a large hole appeared on the body of this damn bastard. You're still young. Don't be too arrogant. Congratulations, host, on killing in gods and demons of immortal soldier realm. You have gained another 500,000 domain value. My precious little darling didn't need me to say anything. It summoned its own troops, the shrimp soldiers and crab generals, once again. This time, the summoned creatures were a big package of domain value, with 3 heads and 6 arms resembling Azuras. The lackeys couldn't wait any longer and shouted, "Kill him! Kill him! Oh dear! Aren't you in a rush? I'm not ready yet, but can your body handle it? Can you withstand the pressure? I'm still waiting. Why don't you summon a few more big packages for me to see? Let me show you my powerful heavenly dragon technique." Upon seeing the grand and imposing aura I exuded, the lackeys finally became afraid. Cold sweat dripped from their foreheads. Damn, fly dragon, attack. I want to thoroughly drain the last drop of experience from this guy. As my true dragon descended, that wonderful prompt rang out once again. Congratulations to the host for setting a new record, gaining 500,000 domain value. Seeing that this guy was standing still, I got annoyed. Continue. Damn it, I'm just getting started. Hurry up, can't you hear me? You useless waste. You're standing there and can't even kill me. I know you still have a protecting Tao immortal. Quickly bring him out and let me have some fun. Seeing him remain silent for a long time, my demonic-like whisper resounded again. If this is your level, it's truly pathetic. You're nothing but a dogshit tier immortal. I think you're a cursed dog. But this guy was immune to my words, which infuriated me. I raised my hand and slapped him. If you don't want to die, quickly summon someone powerful. This little bit isn't enough for anyone to play with. Why aren't you calling for reinforcements? Are you really out of tricks? Can't be, can it? I was looking forward to a good fight. It's your responsibility. Well, I'll pay attention to something else. Just die already. You're already at death's door, and there's no one to save you. Tell me, how did you manage to survive until now? Although I said all this for show, deep down, I was still hoping for the general behind him. At the next moment, this lackey seemed to have a sudden burst of energy, as his whole body ignited with secret flames. I underestimated you, but I've achieved my goal. I thought he would follow the normal script and summon the ultimate final boss to fight me to the death. But this guy unexpectedly self-immolated and left behind a bold declaration, telling me to clean up and wait for him to harvest me. Looking at the experience pack that disappeared from my hand, I couldn't help but feel regretful. How come this guy never falls into the trap? It seems that the death of his avatar in the mortal realm doesn't affect his true self in the upper realm. But if I can trick his true self to come here, then we'll have some fun. The host has completed the temporary mission of protecting the citizens of Dragon Transformation City, rewarding 20,000 domain value and 1 salted fish treasure chest. Killing a Foundation Establishment Realm Peak Expert grants 10 points of domain value. You're using these 10 points of domain value to disgust me. It seems that everything related to heavenly arrogance is valuable. I'll have to find a way to lure them out, but individually searching for them would be troublesome. I might as well use the 9-state cauldron to lure them out and catch them all in one go. But in the next moment, I realized that the battle with this little fish was too intense. My imposing manner was at its peak. They must have already noticed it and are too scared to come out. I was actually confused by this little brat. Crushing him was too overbearing. The heavenly arrogants who were watching won't come anymore. Normally, they would hide and not show themselves, but now it's even harder to find them. Governor of a state. As I watched the little guy rushing towards me, an idea suddenly came to my mind. Got it. Then I pulled out my acting skills, kneeling down on the ground and pretending to be severely injured, showing signs of backlash. The reincarnated heavenly arrogance is truly remarkable. I had to exhaust 80% of my power just to barely kill him. If it weren't for my determination to risk my life, I would have been killed on the spot by that guy. I just hope I won't encounter any other heavenly generals. My body won't be able to fight again for several months. Seeing me so weak, the little brother hurriedly rushed over, shouting loudly, "Governor of a state! Governor of a state! Are you okay?" With that remark, my performance was undoubtedly brought to a climax. But in order to make those little followers relax their vigilance, I showed even more of my acting skills. That is, I almost looked like I was dying. "Hurry up and take me to a doctor," I said. My acting touched this little brother. Seeing him nodding with tears in his eyes, he said, "I will do my best to protect Governor of a state." Then he lifted me up and twisted his enchanting steps while shouting loudly, "Someone help! Governor of a state is seriously injured. His life is hanging by a thread. Someone save him. Governor of a state is about to die." Hearing this little brother's exaggerated performance, I couldn't help but sweat a bit. At this moment, the 3 bystanders also started discussing. This Chinchanan is not simple. It's the first time I've seen slaying heaven in such a miserable state. If he were born in the upper realm, it's likely to be a different story. Fortunately, he was seriously injured, which made things easier for us. The long-haired woman did not lose her intelligence and instead cautiously suggested, "Why don't the three of us join together and try to test him? We can't let others take advantage of us." Meanwhile, the little brother has already brought me back to the town, and his loud proclamation attracted the attention of many people. "Did you hear? Governor of a state is seriously injured." The long-haired woman seemed a bit impatient and her heart was eager to make a move. "The three of us are at the peak of refining Void Realm. As long as we cooperate and use all means, it shouldn't be difficult to deal with him. What do you think? Shall we do it?" The pink-haired young girl thought we should be more cautious, because, with her sixth sense as a woman, she felt that there were some problems. Didn't that Azura and the bald man get killed because they were reckless? Nan Rong, watching the two having a heated discussion, suddenly interrupted. "In my opinion, dealing with Chinchanon, using force is not the best way. Nobody knows whether it's deep feelings or something else." Nan Rong even showed a bit of infatuation in her eyes. Men are hard to get over a certain obstacle, and that obstacle is called the beauty barrier.